GM, hi, it's Kent Philly. It's July 14th, 2023, and I'm here with the StakeRocketPool University Delegate team. I will let them do their own introductions, and then we'll hop into it because there are three active Rocket Pool proposals that we're going to talk about today. So pass it over to Izzy first.
Hi everyone, I'm Izzy and I'm a recent graduate of Northeastern University, where I served as their co-director of governance for over a year.
Hi, my name is Buster. I'm walking into my second year of university, and I help write rocket pool analysis for the proposals.
Super duper. So thanks for the intros. We've all been talking for a couple minutes to make sure we're a bit more primed, but I like to do this a bit off cusp so it can be hopefully enjoyable for those out there. We are looking for more to join us in this university token delegation program where we're focusing on how we can improve the Rocket Pool community through integrating some of the best and brightest talent that we know. So we have Northeastern and University of Cincinnati as our leading scholarly team members here for this month. And we have these three proposals that we are going to talk about. They end actually today, so the site has not been synced, and we can see that the quorum has already been reached. So our votes are not going to matter that much, but we do know this commentary hopefully will be helpful to others out there to hear insights from what younger minds think about the decisions in the community. So without further ado, I'd like to know who would like to go first to share their thoughts between Izzy and Ben. Any preferences? I pass it over to you, Regex Buster, and I can share my screen to go over your analysis for.
All right, sweet. So my analysis pretty straightforward. The current proposals were really nice. I didn't have too many problems with either of them. Mostly what's going on is we're moving inflation from Rocket Pool rewards, from just like general staking rewards, and we're moving a lot from the ODAO back over to the PDAO. Node operators shares are being held at 70%, so that's not going anywhere, but we're trying to decentralize it or trying to stop giving so much to the ODAO and pull it back to our like more decentralized governance instead of our more centralized governance in the ODAO. And this helps our PDAO a bit because they were feeling like they didn't have enough funds to do what they wanted to do to help improve Rocket Pool. So by pulling back some of this payment for the PDAO and allowing them to use it on their projects is actually going to be really helpful. They also did a bit of wiggling on where the budget actually goes for the PDAO, playing with it a bit so that the groups within the PDAO, I believe the IMC really needed some more budget, so they shifted it around so they get some more budget, and a lot more of it is going to the reserves now, so they can be used at some later point. I forgot to update the ODAO one, but for the ODAO charter, it's actually pretty good. Essentially, what they're saying is that for the ODAO, we outlined some ideas of what they should do while they're active, but the idea is to start slowly taking away their responsibilities and putting it into better decentralized processes so that we don't have to rely on such a centralized ODAO and instead have it work a bit better, like more decentralized, and we don't have to actually rely on them. Otherwise, it's outlining that they should actively try and minimize themselves instead of increasing their power within Rocket Pool. And it outlines some of the things that they need to take care of and like focus on in who they actually serve within the Rocket Pool community. And then for the PDAO charter was actually pretty pretty quick and simple. It basically just outlines who the PDAO is and what they do, so that when you come in to the protocol, you can just see directly what's going on. Like, oh, I have no idea what the heck the PDAO is. Let me go read their RPIP, and it tells you pretty much exactly what they are. They serve the Rocket Pool community. They're node operators based on their staked RPL, and they help to actively govern the protocol. It also adds in a little bit about how PDAO members should be actively informed on what governance is, which is really important, because if you're not informed, you're just voting for fun, and that doesn't necessarily it's not really a good governance model, because you should know what you're voting on and have like an intelligent thought for it, so that you don't have to, so you don't just follow somebody and potentially follow some big whale into something that's not actually beneficial for you. Or they say you should probably delegate your voting power to somebody who is informed, so that the aforementioned following does not happen either. Otherwise, I think that's about it. I did like the proposals this time, and I'm happy to see where this all goes.
Easy. Sorry to go off of that. That was really helpful, Ben. Sorry, regex buster. I just doxed regex buster. Really good analysis. I personally agree that the strategy to reduce the centralization by funding a smaller group that is controlling the Oracle prices and pushing it to the outsides of the marketing budgets and incentivizing community members to promote what we want to see in the Rocket Pool community is really exciting. And this, PDAO really highlights what Rocket Pool values, and that's, protocol safety, the health of Ethereum first, decentralization, and, letting anyone participate. So I agree with the way you've gone about the voting, and we'll pass it over to Izzy if you'd like to share any comments.
Yeah, sure. I definitely agree with kind of what both of you guys have already said. And my takeaway from reading through these charters is that, there is like a more bicameral system kind of coming to life. And that's a good thing, because, obviously the Oracle DAO and the Protocol DAO have different responsibilities. So having those clearly defined kind of puts everybody on the same page expectation-wise, which is necessary to move forward in any organization. But yeah, the emphasis for the Oracle DAO is definitely governance minimization, like you guys have gone over. I saw that there are some exceptions when the Oracle DAO is allowed to veto certain proposals, but those are kept very narrow and should not be used as a norm. And then
the ODAO still has like a backdoor, is what you're saying, to ensure safety of the protocol.
yeah,
Maybe
let me see. It says, while the ODAO possesses the ability to veto by refusing to apply an upgrade or settings change, veto powers shall be reserved for cases that were not voted for by the Protocol DAO, vote manipulation, malicious action, or proposals that would result in clear damage to the Rocket Pool project. So I'm imagining that's going to happen on a case-by-case basis. So it'll be interesting to see, if any veto cases do come up and how the community navigates through that.
Yeah, we saw that Arbitrum failing was kind of the proposal. So I bet the ODAO will learn to take feedback before considering a veto, is how serious that is.
Yeah, totally. Because you don't want a veto to become a common course of action. That would go against the point of governance minimization. But yeah, other than that, I think the charters were written out really clearly, and yeah, it's good that the ODAO is not going to be steering the direction of the protocol. That's going to be up to a wider pool of community members. And yeah, that's kind of my feedback.
Yeah, great commentary. Completely agree. I'd love to hear if you're open to share we were talking about before to let you continue on the some of the roadmap and how we were just talking about the difference between the ODAO and the PDAO, and that relates to decentralization and how the roadmap for Rocket Pool, which is shared here, has been talked about and is quite detailed and nuanced. But, I'd love to hear any of your thoughts if you're willing to share on the Rocket Pool roadmap and the thoughts the community has come up with thus far.
Well, one thing I can say is that I know we've just kind of spoken about this a little bit, but for the ODAO moving continuously to trustless duties, in my opinion, that should be a very high priority. Because since like ODAO members are more centralized, it's a paid position, the barrier to entry is higher. It makes sense that you would counterbalance that with the nature of their duties being trustless and more, automated, and because you don't want to be not to actually I don't know, but yeah, so I think that should be a high priority, and that's obviously going to continue to iterate and improve. And then one other thing I'm just looking forward to is wallet integrations. I think those are some great wallets lined up. And that's going to be, I think that's going to be very useful and will be exciting to see built.
I completely agree. The integrations with wallets will make it easier for people to find like an up-only token. There's very few out there, and with unknown like market conditions, you can just watch your Ethereum increase each day with our ETH. So I think that'll help a lot of people that don't know it's available, or even on Uniswap today, you have to like confirm that the risks associated with the token that's not on major exchanges. Even though it is on major exchanges, in the US, it's still just this exotic token. And so it'll be nice, like you said, where we can make it easy for others to understand that this is a great community to win in. I think the trustless duties, I want to just counter that is, it's really hard to trust in the community until you've built up a really strong community that has lots of different voices and, accountability. And so there is a lot of push on this trustless duties, but I've seen the core team be a little bit slow to, pulling off full of their responsibility with that, clause that they could veto, because they want to make sure that everything they've built doesn't, fall apart with some bad actor. So it's always this trade-off, but I completely agree. Shining the light on that is really important, specifically for those who are getting paid, to make sure that this community is as trustless as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, I can see, I completely get that point. Like, you don't want to just pawn off a bunch of responsibilities and, just hope that it goes well. Like, you want the community to be informed and making informed decisions, and that's the only way that decentralized organizations are going to thrive, is if everyone's informed. But yeah.
Completely agree. And it's hard to figure out how to get everybody involved. Anything from you, Ray X Buster, on the roadmap?
Yeah, so you said a few things about maybe it's backtracking a bit, but how on major exchanges or for Uniswap and stuff like that, you have to say like, hey, I know the risks associated with this token. Like, I actually do want to buy this. And I think the transparency underneath the brand heading, kind of like the Lido scorecard, is actually really important for investors. Even if they're like, if you're a node operator, you probably already understand the risks. You're deep into Rocket Pool. Hopefully you do. But if you're just a new investor looking around, like what is staking and what's Rocket Pool? Like what looking at Lido, you can kind of see already on their scorecard, like, here's what we do well, here's what we do poorly, here's what we want to fix. Like with Rocket Pool, there's not a like, web page you can kind of point somebody to say like, hey, here's what here's how we do well, here's our problem areas, and there's nothing really to give them a quick and easy way to be like, oh, okay, I actually do understand the risks of this. They'd have to take a little bit of time to work into it, and right now they have to take a little bit of time to work into it and figure out what's actually going on. But I think just something similar to the Lido scorecard would be really helpful for people to just understand the risks and get in pretty quickly. So.
Couldn't agree more. It really takes hand-to-hand combat, but when the Rocket Pool, core organization can give us reference points, and they're accepted by the community, or even like doing analytics can help us, that really shows that the tech is there, and it's on top of it, you can prove it with the analytics. I think Rocket Pool has chosen, like, let's start from the bottom up. Let's not focus on the marketing and show off too much, but you're right, they're missing on the transparency piece. That's kind of our hope here, is that you guys as university leaders can help onboard new individuals, not into like the latest Pepe project, but to like something that's successful. It's almost like dollar cost averaging the S&P in our parents' generation, but this one's like dollar cost averaging early Apple stock. This is not financial advice. This is just my own opinion. And I just think you can help really grow the community with some young minds, and it's got to be as transparent as possible. So really enjoyed hearing both of your thoughts, and excited to see how both of you can work towards becoming node operators, and then we can help promote the transparency on our ETH, and then around the brand. Because lastly, you hit it on the head, Izzy, around the trustlessness duties, and others who are crypto Twitter nerds poke at Rocket Pool all the time, is that's a big area. Or even in the governance forums, you can find some people who are a little focused on that, and it's true. It's still run by a couple of different organizations who try to share all their duties, but they have responsibilities that keep the protocol going. So a lot to do, but great baseline framework. Our ETH reached $1 billion market cap in the last month, and staked ETH is now 20% of Ethereum. Lido is at 75% of the total staked ETH, so there's tons of room for growth for Rocket Pool, and it's just excited to see how we can all help. So is there anything else from you two that you'd like to share, like this month in July, or things that you've seen in the community that may be worth discussing, or even like some help, or things you'd like to hear from others if they watch this video?
My only thing would be that if there are any other, one's dropped.
That out. Don't worry. I don't. Hopefully he comes back.
Well, all I was going to say is that if there are any other students in the university blockchain club, definitely reach out if you're interested in joining this group, and if you're interested in running a Rocket Pool node in the future, because we're trying to go from 0 to hero in that regard. And so, yeah, feel free to message any of us on Twitter.
0 to hero. I love that tagline. Let's buy that ENS. Reagan Buster, you're back. We missed you there for a second, got a little scared. Anything you'd like to share before we wrap up today?
Sorry about that. I have computer troubles all morning, so it's very fun. Other than that, no, not really. I do like the roadmap. It gives people kind of an idea of what's going to go on, what they can look at, so they can stay informed like ahead of time. They're looking into smart contracts. It's like, hey, we know we want to do this kind of stuff. Let's look into it so that when the time comes around that proposals come up, we actually understand what's going on. So it's really nice to have that. I like all the stuff that they're doing with node operators, trying to consolidate everything, make it easier to just run and get everything done. Otherwise, yeah, shoot me messages wherever you can find me. I'm regex buster most places, Twitter, Discord, whatever. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks for watching. And yeah, reach out to us if you want to get involved in the university program. As Izzy referenced, she's a fearless leader who's we're working to get her and regex buster running rocket pool nodes very soon. And we'll share that journey so more of us can be validators and node operators. Really appreciate your time and hope everybody avoids the FUD and continues to stay optimistic and learn more. Thanks so much. I stop.